Now on News 6, Florida's latest hands-free driving bill facing its biggest hurdle yet. What's causing delays? Plus, an area notorious for crime could soon be a spot for new businesses. The plan to transform the compound into a multi-million-dollar revenue generator. And the brush fire risks you need to be aware of this week. This is News 6 Mornings.
Hey, good morning. It's 7. Do you hear it? Do you hear it? That's Michelle's alarm. She's supposed to be waking up right now, but I'm glad she made it here early. I'm Crystal Moyer.
I'm Justin Mormouth. Michelle is in for Trooper Steve. She's watching the roads. Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos with the forecast leading us off now, and we've been talking about it throughout the morning and for the last couple of days, just how dry it's been. And I know it's tough to focus right now with.
I'm sorry. That's my son's alarm to wake him up.
Jacob, up and at him, buddy.
Get up,
Wake up, baby.
It is so funny because we're all, at the end of the day, we all have our alarms set. But then, man, when you work this morning show, all those alarms start going off when you're halfway through your workday. Weird, right? Taking a live look outside Daytona Beach. Good morning, everybody. We've got that sun coming up nicely over just really nice, calm waters out there. They don't look like glass, but they're looking real nice if you're planning on enjoying the beaches for today. We're at 52 degrees under mostly clear skies. There is barely a breeze in place. And an interesting little fact, that sunrise continues to push up about a minute or so, almost every other day or so. So earlier this week, our sunrise was at 7. This morning, we're at 6:58. So that is certainly going to be something we can look forward to showing you more sunrise videos and photos here. Let's talk about temperatures out the door right now. We are in the 40s across a big portion of north and west of I-4 from DeLand through Ocala, the Villages, Wildwood, Palm Coast, all areas right now down into those 40s. Pretty much elsewhere, we're all in those 50s. But compared to just 24 hours ago, we're running between 7 and up to about 15, even 16 degrees cooler this morning than yesterday. As we head into the afternoon, it will be a little bit of a warmer day. Still in the 70s along our coastline, mid to upper 80s further inland. We desperately need some rain, and we don't even have any moisture in the air at this point in time with relative humidity down into the teens for another day. We'll have more details on what that means for our drought concerns, as well as a look at if there's any rain in the forecast in the near future coming up. Now let's check on those roadways. Meteorologist Michelle Morgan, she's got your News 6 traffic update.
Thanks so much, Candace. Well, the roads are dry. I'm not tracking any crashes to hold you up. Looking at the typical congestion here along I-4 eastbound near Champions Gate, we still have traffic moving at 20 miles per hour, so allow extra time if this is part of your travels this morning. As you can see, the traffic flow in and out of the metro area looking fantastic. I-95 and I-75 looking pretty good too. So here's a look at some drive times. I-4 eastbound from Osceola Parkway. If you're heading towards downtown Orlando, you can see we're still in the green. It'll take you about 21 minutes there. 528 westbound from 436 to I-4. It's about a 9-minute drive.
Thanks, Michelle. Turning back now to the weather and the growing risk for brush fires across Central Florida.
Yeah, we saw another pretty big one pop up yesterday. This one burning not far from some homes in Melbourne. And it all comes as more Central Florida counties put burn bans in place, trying to reduce the risk.
News 6's Angie Casada is following the latest live from the Division of Forestry office in Orange County. And Angie, the county is one of several now banning outdoor burning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, and those burn bans are expected to just keep growing, right? Matter of fact, take a look at the sign behind me. That's good old Smokey the Bear. Well, he's letting us know fire danger is up, and so are the risks for more brush fires across this region.
Just yesterday, a fast-moving brush fire erupted near homes and businesses in Melbourne, burning more than 30 acres before it was contained. It follows another fire earlier this week in Volusia County that left hundreds of acres burned. In Lake County, we rode along with fire officials, where Chief David Kilberry showed us just how dry conditions are getting.
It is literally like saltine crackers. If someone was to pull their car over in this debris to make a phone call, the heat from the catalytic converter could cause this to combust.
The drought conditions are worsening, leaving plenty of fuel for potential wildfires. Parts of Lake, Marion, and Volusia counties are now in severe drought. That's why several counties, including Orange, have issued new burn bans. That means no yard waste, no open flames, and no bonfires unless you have a permit.
Keeping a yard mowed, keeping it watered, not allowing leaves in the gutter.
Now, if you live near wildland, firefighters also urge you to clear at least 30 feet around your home and prepare for evacuation just in case. Live in Orlando, Angie Casava, News 6.
Thanks, Angie. Now to an update about a teen who has been missing since Tuesday. Police in Altamont Springs say 13-year-old Rachel Scott has been found safe. Some good news here. Rachel had been missing after vanishing Tuesday night. Investigators say she's in good health. No other details are being released at this time. New this morning, a bizarre story in Volusia County after the owners of a store are charged with selling human bones. Ashley Lalesi and Kimberly Shopper were both taken into custody this week. It comes after a months-long investigation found the two had bones belonging to multiple people at their store Wicked Wonderland in Orange City and were allegedly selling the remains on Facebook Marketplace. According to the arrest report, the pair said they bought the remains from private sellers and didn't know it was illegal. Both are now out of jail after posting bond.
Right now, a family in Fruitland Park is left with nowhere to go after their home was destroyed by a fire. Just horrible situation here. 2 people ended up being rushed to the hospital, including a 6-year-old child. News 6 spoke with the father, Mike Cox, who says the fire marshal told him it was likely an electrical fire caused by a fuse box that sparked the flames Saturday. He says while it is a struggle, having lost everything, the worst part was seeing his son, who is nonverbal and autistic, in pain.
And he's out there screaming at the top of his lungs, and his mom's screaming at top, and she laying on the ground crying. My son's going, ouchie, 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 and I'm picking him up, and he's just pulling skin because he doesn't know, and he's like, ow, 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 and I couldn't make it stop. I just wanted to take his pain away so he didn't have to deal with it.
So sad. Cox says his son has to undergo surgery today at Shands Burn Center in Gainesville. A family friend has set up a GoFundMe to support the family. If you'd like to donate, just click on this story on clickorlando.com.
New this morning, Florida's Attorney General is going after the popular gaming website Roblox over concerns about child predators. James Uthmeyer issued a subpoena to the platform for information about how it markets to children and how it moderates online chats. Uthmeyer says there are concerning reports that Roblox is exposing children to, quote, harmful content and bad actors. The site has more than 85 million daily users, an estimated 40% being under the age of 13.
News 6 led the push in 2019 to keep drivers safe, going all the way to Tallahassee to meet with lawmakers and give testimony about the dangers of texting behind the wheel. Those actions resulted in a new state law banning texting while driving. Yeah, now the state is considering a new step to protect drivers even further. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez joins us live. And Stephanie, the state is looking to go fully hands-free, but that plan right now is in jeopardy.
Yeah, it is. Back in 2023, nearly 3,000 people died here in Florida because of distracted driving. So to try to save lives, the Florida Senate passed a hands-free driving bill, but it's not moving in the House and time is running out.
At 65 miles per hour on I-4, your car covers 95 feet per second, meaning simply glancing at your phone for 4 seconds takes your eyes off the road for what amounts to the length of a football field.
Smartphone-based distracted driving is not only one of the most dangerous, but also one of the most widespread causes of crashes, yet it is completely preventable.
Senator Erin Grahl led the push to move Florida to hands-free, with her bill passing the state Senate on April 9th. Now, a week later, the House has not acted, meaning the legislation could die as the clock runs out.
It really seeks to just create that bright line so that it is easier to explain the law. It is easier to understand the law. It's easier to enforce the law.
According to state numbers, Florida drivers are involved in a crash every 44 seconds, with 1 in 7 involving distracted driving. The bill would ban drivers from the sustained use of a cell phone while driving unless it's hands-free, with fines up to $1,000.
It takes us digging in and saying we are going to change our behavior because we know this is as bad, if not worse, than drunk driving.
The House still has time and could take up the bill as written in the Senate. We have reached out to several members of the Florida House who tell us that it doesn't seem that this is a top priority for members right now, but that could change. In Orlando, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
We'll see what happens, Stephanie. Thanks. And Candace, Maybe you're heading to work or to school. This is a put the windows down type of morning.
It's going to be just a nice day. Even the kids who have to get dropped off or at the bus stop or walking to school, it's just a nice start right now. We're in the upper 50s. We do need a light jacket in some locations, basically north and west of I-4, where some of us are waking up into the upper 40s, mostly clear morning. As we head into the afternoon, though, by 3 p.m. run dismissal time, it will be another comfortable afternoon, nearing normal. We don't have any moisture even in the air at this point in time, not even rain chance. We're just talking about moisture content around in the environment. We barely have that, which is going to make things, albeit comfortable, still increasing our danger for fire. So as we look here at the fire danger index, we're looking at a high range here, pretty much all across central Florida, and that will be the story until further notice. Our drought monitor gets updated every week on Thursday at about 8 a.m. So I am waiting for the next update and the next round. Unfortunately, I'm a little concerned that the severe drought might get extended, as we really didn't see much in the way of rain last week. So as we kind of look ahead throughout the next month or so, it looks like pretty much all of Florida will be dealing with abnormally dry conditions at least until early May. We'll have more details on the slim chances of rain and a look at your Easter weekend coming up in just a little bit. Back to you guys.
We'll see you then. Thank you, Candace. Still ahead, you've heard the stat, likely 1,000 people moving to Florida every day. So how is that impacting you?
New this morning, a look at the one group helping cities across the state prepare. Plus, we go inside one of the largest candy factories ahead of Easter. A look at the new holiday treats.
First, though, possible changes to where you drive on the beach now up for conversation. Why some say there needs to be more room for drivers. You're watching News 6 Mornings. Nice shot here. We'll be right back.
Right now, Volusia County is considering big changes to where you can drive on the beach. The county council has unanimously voted to begin the approval process of expanding beach driving in Daytona Beach. We're talking about the area from International Speedway Boulevard to Auditorium Boulevard, an area currently off limits. The section of the beach includes the pier and the boardwalk there. Local business owners, they've long advocated for beach access here, thinking it will boost business in the area. That's seen a downfall. However, others want to keep it a traffic-free beach for guests who don't want to deal with cars.
It will create a loop that goes from International Speedway to Main Street, or Main Street all the way down to Silver Beach and further, and allow all of this to be a cycle again and create that kind of fun drive atmosphere.
Opening up that portion of the beach for people who have been coming for years, such as the Hilton. They expect no driving.
The process to implement these changes is just the beginning, with the county set to collaborate with state legislators and the city of Daytona Beach on the next steps. Well, Florida is adding 1,000 new residents every single day, and many of you have shared your concerns when it comes to the growth.
Yeah, absolutely. And it turns out there's one group telling every city, every single one in Florida, how many people they need to account for in the coming decades. All new this morning, News 6 anchor Matt Austin got an up-close look at their work.
Let me ask you this. What do you know about Bieber?
Justin Bieber or some other Bieber?
No, not this Bieber. I'm talking about this one, the Bureau of Economic and Business Research.
We have been doing the official population estimates and projections for the state of Florida since the 70s.
Researchers at UF in Gainesville are contracted by the state. They tell cities and counties how much growth they must plan for. This includes new homes, apartments, and schools.
We do population estimates every year. Then we produce also annually population projections going into the future out to the year 2050.
Richard Doty is one of 4 people crunching the numbers for all 67 counties.
What are the areas of Florida that are growing at a pace that people might not know if they weren't in the numbers like you are?
Well, if you spend any time driving up and down I-4, it's probably no surprise to you that the I-4 corridor is exploding.
Doty says Orange, Osceola, and Polk counties are seeing the biggest population booms, and they're not alone.
Volusia, Western Volusia in particular, Brevard, everybody's growing. Osceola is one of the top counties in percentage growth in the state. The whole region is absolutely exploding.
So how does Bieber actually get these numbers? Well, they don't use birth and death rates the way the U.S. Census Bureau does. They use power numbers. See, utility companies like FPL and Duke tell them how many people turn their power on and cut it off. It helps them track housing units. Matt Austin, News 6.
Really interesting. Well, the group also uses building permits, homestead exemptions, and property appraiser data to help with these projections. You can find population estimates for your city inside this story on clickorlando.com.
While candy is expected to be more expensive this year, the sweet treats will make up the bulk of Easter gift giving. Not surprising there. The National Retail Federation expects near record levels of, get this, $23.6 billion in sales this year. At the Mars Wrigley headquarters, planning for this year's Easter started 2 years ago. Employees say while it's a fun job to have, there's a science to creating Easter treats.
You just can't eat every product that you're tasting. So just like wine, we do sometimes have to use a spit cup.
Good to know. Not today, though.
Not today.
I just got a piece of chocolate with a knife.
Well, how do you eat it? With your hands?
Some of this year's holiday treats include a new recipe and package for Snicker eggs and freeze-dried Skittles.
What, you don't eat a Snickers with a fork and knife?
I don't.
What, you eat it with your hands?
I mean,
gross.
That was my job. It's like taking a little knife in the fork.
That's right, proper.
Yeah,
very proper.
Very proper. And
pinky up.
Pinky up. I was gonna say pinky up. Yeah. I don't know, man.
Chocolate.
You do it?
Could
chocolate.
you be a tester?
I mean, yes, and I'm not a Reese's fan.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say it right there. I'm probably the one
It's
and
the
only.
peanut butter.
It's the peanut butter chocolate thing. Yeah. Our director's with me. Also, don't mix chocolate with mint. Period.
You don't like Junior Mints?
Reese's or Peeps?
They're chocolate? Delicious.
Yeah, I don't think so. All right, let's talk about the weather forecast. Anyway, now you know.
I don't even know what to say.
Now you know.
I mixed in 2 Seinfeld references.
You did. I caught them both.
Went right over my head, but I'm sure
caught
my
them
dad
both.
knows.
Mine too. Went over my head. Sorry.
I caught them. Anytime I'm in the green room, I have a little bit of Seinfeld in the background, and that's when Justin walks in. He's like, "Great episode. That's episode blah blah blah, titled blah blah blah." Yeah, so he's pretty good at it. All right, we gotta take. If you ever have a Seinfeld trivia night, can you please call us up? I would love to take Justin, make some money. All right, let's talk about the weather forecast across the area. We are staying dry this afternoon. Make sure you got the sprinklers going appropriately. It's twice a week, depending on your address, evens and odds. But as we head into the rest of the afternoons, between now and even into the weekend, we're talking about an elevated fire danger. So we're still looking at the high category all across Central Florida. Now, the temperatures are not helping out either because it's going to be warm, it's going to be dry. We have a little bit of a breeze in place. So as temperatures continue to warm even into the weekend, we could get close to near 90 by Sunday. Could get even further than that early next week. Right now, the wind gust not too bad. We are clocking a stronger breeze right along the beaches there from Cape Canaveral through Melbourne right now. Those gusts upwards about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Now, temperatures out the door. We're at 49 in Marion County, 46 in Wildwood. We're still in the 50s up and down the I-4 corridor, even cooler along our coastline. So it is a nice cool-ish start to the morning, but then we're going to be warming those temperatures up before you know it. So as we take here hour by hour, 83 is going to be our high, about 83, 84 between about 3 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Mostly clear skies. That breeze, though, light out of the east-northeast. Looking at your Easter Sunday forecast, again, with all the talk about Easter candy, maybe limit how much chocolate, or at least when you're prepping those Easter egg hunts, we don't let the eggs out for too long because it is going to be a hot one. Temperatures are going to be closing in on near 80 degrees as early as about 11 a.m. Closing in on near 90, though, as we hit the kind of the peak heating of the day on Sunday. And that's all thanks to a big ridge of high pressure in the upper levels. It's going to anchor itself across the western Atlantic, and that's going to continue to heat us up even further and keeping us mostly dry. This is going to be your best shot for rain, at least in the next 7 days. That comes possibly Tuesday and or Wednesday. We're watching the approach of a weak front coming in from the north. Some models keep it to the north and just kind of keep us warm and humid. Temperatures could get into the low 90s, though, because of that. So as we get results here, your full 7-day forecast, slight chance for rain. We'll take at this point any rain that we can get. But until then, though, it does look like it's going to be a hot stretch. Now let's check on those roadways with meteorologist Michelle Morgan. She's in for Trooper Steve.
Thanks so much, Candace. 720, still crash-free across the area this morning. I am tracking some slowdowns as you're heading along I-4 westbound. This is near the Deltona area, tracking the speeds there at 45 miles per hour. In and out of the city, you shouldn't have any issues. The traffic flow showing that everything is all in the green for now. So if you're heading along 408, Highway 50, I'm not seeing any problems. So as you take a look at your drive times westbound on I-4, along 528 or towards 528, it's a 4-minute drive, the turnpike to 528, excuse me, and then I-4 westbound from 417 out in Sanford. And if you're heading to the downtown area, it's about a 24-minute drive.
Thanks, Michelle. News 6 is getting results for Harbor House of Central Florida. If you didn't know, they support, domestic violence survivors and their fur babies. Well, tonight we will be taking your calls and your donations to help the organization's animal shelter. Every dollar helps. Get your wallets out if you can help support. It all begins at 4 o'clock right here on News 6, and we'll be telling you the number starting at 4. A massive blackout leaving hundreds of thousands in the dark in Puerto Rico.
At the bottom of the hour, how long the government is warning it could be before some get their service restored.
But first, the local mall putting out a plea for teens and parents. The TikTok trend, they say, has left one of their movie theaters damaged. I didn't think this would actually ever be a story, but a local mall is now pleading with both teens and their parents after one of its movie theaters was damaged.
Yeah, this all has to do with a TikTok trend tied to the new Minecraft movie. There is one specific scene after Jack Black's character says,
"Chicken jockey!"
Thank you, and then people shout and throw their snacks and drinks up in the air. anything to get some likes on social media.
Oh,
the mall
man.
posted on Facebook that this past weekend, a newly renovated theater ended up damaged, actually, and that it's now close to implementing a no accompanied minors policy for the film, something other theaters across the country have been forced to do. Ruining it for everyone. Well, new this morning, some disappointing news for fans of Blue Man Group. The grand opening for the group's residency at Icon Park once again delayed. Was originally expected to open this spring, but now the opening date is TBD. A recent press release says several unexpected construction delays have ultimately pushed the grand opening to later this year.
All right, some good news for anyone missing the deals at Big Lots. The retailer is set to reopen 55 stores, including some here in Central Florida. The first wave of reopenings are expected to happen on May 1st. The second wave is set for May 15th. Now, we checked for you, and only one store in Central Florida is set to reopen for now. That's the one on South Nova Road in Ormond Beach. That's in Volusia County. However, Variety Wholesalers says additional stores will continue to reopen through June. So maybe. We'll see. Well, a new push to revamp an area notorious for crime.
Still to come, what leaders in Palm Bay want to do with the compound and when they're set to talk about it. Plus, new burn bans and brush fires, everything you needed to know about the dry weather that's leading to dangerous conditions across Central Florida. You're watching News 6 Mornings, live shot over downtown Orlando. We'll be right back.
Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results.
Good morning, Central Florida. I'm Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos taking a live look outside. It's a cool-ish morning across the area as we are waking up in the 40s and 50s. Right now, Cape Canaveral at 51. A little bit of a breeze in place, but throughout the rest of the afternoon will be another nice, comfortably warm day. We're up to 83, about 84 under mostly sunny skies. Just a light breeze expected. Now, we're going to continue to warm up those temperatures, especially as we head into your Easter Sunday. And then as we head into early next week, weak front could warm us up warm us up even further into the 90s. Now let's check on those roadways. Meteorologist Michelle Morgan.
Thanks so much, Candace. Taking a look at things here, everything is moving along pretty good. Still tracking some congestion here as you're heading along I-4 westbound. This is near Deltona, so if that's part of your morning drive, just give yourself extra time tracking those speeds there at 20 miles per hour. Now zooming things out just for a better look. The metro area looking fantastic. No issues there. You can see the traffic flow all in the green.
This portion of the news is sponsored by AK Certified Roofing. Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results.
7:30 now. Let's get a check of our top stories. Mandatory burn bans now in place for 4 central Florida counties as our threat for wildfires continues to grow. A new fire in Melbourne yesterday burned near homes and businesses before crews were able to get it contained.
The government in Puerto Rico is warning it could be days before everyone gets their lights back on after the entire island was hit by a massive blackout. It's still not known what caused the outage, but it's not a good time. You know, a lot of those hotels are packed with tourists ahead of the Easter holiday.
And leaders in Palm Bay are set to hear plans tonight to finally redevelop the compound. The area has been a problem spot for years, even the site of multiple murders. The new proposal would turn part of the land into a business park.
Interesting. Turning back now to the weather. You know, we desperately need that rain. But what we're getting instead is this beautiful view of downtown Orlando, but obviously causing some issues with all that dry weather.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because we do enjoy this weather. This weather is like prime right now. And Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos joins us with a look at the drought conditions. That's the other side of this coin. Candace.
Right, yeah. The same weather that's making things just feel so nice that you're almost guilted into doing something outdoors is the same weather that's causing some issues for many fire crews across Central Florida fighting those fires. As we look here at the water vapor imagery, you can see how much of that dry air remains in place. Now we are going to watch kind of a weak front up to our north. That's going to slowly take its time on its way down here across the deep south, but that won't even arrive until early next week. So that's the only reason why we will have a low end chance for even isolated shower come Tuesday and Wednesday. In the meantime, though, it's a cool-ish start to the morning. And I say that because some areas like Orlando already nearing 60, but just a little further to the north and west in the Villages, Marion County, right now we're still in the 40s at this point in time. And then along the coastline, quite a little bit of a spread, 47 in Palm Coast, but up to those mid 50s across southern Brevard County. Your beach outlook looking nice today, tomorrow, even into the weekend if you want to maybe celebrate the Easter holiday along our coastline, maybe do a little Easter egg hunts there. We do have a moderate risk of rip currents. Now, highs throughout the rest of the afternoon are going to continue to rebound near to just slightly above average. We'll have more details on how much warmer these temperatures will get coming up in just a little bit. Now, let's check on those roadways with meteorologist Michelle Morgan. She's got your pinpoint traffic.
Thanks so much, Candace. It's now 7:32. We're still crash-free. Everything looking fantastic. I haven't seen any disabled vehicles slowing down traffic, but still looking at some congestion because we have more and more people out and about. We have the buses out as well. As you're heading along I-4 eastbound, this is near Champions Gate. Now we have traffic flowing at 20 miles per hour, so pretty slow in that area. Allow extra time. Also still tracking this, a bit of a slowdown here along I-4 westbound near Deltona. Traffic speeds at 45 miles per hour. In and out of the city, still looking fantastic at the moment. And your drive times here, as you're heading along I-4 eastbound from Champions Gate to 408, you can see we're right at that red, a 37-minute drive. And the Turnpike southbound from 27 to I-4, a 20-minute drive.
Thank you, Michelle. Back now to the weather as dry conditions continue to fuel new brush fires.
Yeah, one of those new fires popping up in Melbourne yesterday, burning dozens of acres. And with the dry air not letting up, more Central Florida counties have put burn bans in place to try and keep people safe. News 6's Angie Casada is at the Division of Forestry office in Orange County. And Angie, how high are fire risks right now?
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, again, this is something we got to take serious. Take a look behind me. That's Smokey the Bear. He may look familiar to some, but he says the fire risk right now is high. That's from yesterday. It says moderate, but officials say that this is just the start if we don't get rain soon.
A fast-moving brush fire in Melbourne had smoke stretching across I-95 Wednesday, burning more than 30 acres near homes, businesses before crews could get it under control. It follows other fires across Central Florida in recent days. Lake County fire officials showed us just how dry conditions have become, with hurricane debris still scattered on forest floors.
It is literally like saltine crackers. If someone was to pull their car over in this debris to make a phone call, the heat from the catalytic converter could cause this to combust.
Much of Central Florida, especially Lake, Marion, and Volusia, is now under severe drought. And now new burn bans are in effect, including Orange County as of yesterday. That means no outdoor burning, no yard waste fires, no bonfires unless it's permitted.
Now, crews are urging everyone to clear brush from around their homes, stay alert, and be smart. One spark is all it takes. Reporting live in Orlando, Angie Casada, News 6.
Thank you, Angie. Brand new video now out of Puerto Rico showing much of the island in darkness after a massive blackout. And the government is warning it could be days before some folks get the lights back on. So this blackout impacted all of Puerto Rico's 1.4 million customers. As of last night, crews had only restored power to about 175,000. The outage forced some to have to abandon trains in the middle of long trips. Others have been trying to get into hotels, which are already packed for the upcoming Easter holiday. What we don't know this morning is just what caused all of this, but this is just the latest in a string of problems for the island when it comes to power. Puerto Rico's governor calling the whole thing unacceptable.
I just can't even imagine without air conditioning, too. Well, new this morning, police in DeLand arrest a man for having potential explosive devices inside his home. It happened Friday morning when police say they responded to a call at a home on Marlboro Drive. Once inside, officers say they found several suspicious items, including glass bottles with liquid and cloth material, which are items they believe could be used for Molotov cocktails. The sheriff's office bomb squad, they confirmed the bottles contained a flammable liquid capable of causing an explosion. The suspect was arrested and booked into the Volusia County Jail.
Some scary new video showing a close call for a Volusia deputy on I-95. He had to dive out of the way after a driver almost hit him and a trooper investigating a separate crash. Take a look. Talk about a close call. Investigators say a driver in an SUV veered off the highway and into the emergency lane, hitting the patrol car, smashing into the back of the car involved in the first wreck, and then spinning back onto I-95. Now, you might remember some body camera video we showed you of the aftermath of the crash on Monday.
If those rumble strips weren't there, yeah, I would have been dead.
Thankfully, everyone was okay. The driver was cited for failure to move over for emergency vehicles. Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer is responding to our questions after the state's top prosecutor threatened to remove him from office. Earlier this week, we told you about a letter sent to Dyer by Florida Attorney General James Uffmeyer. He wasn't happy with comments Dyer made, saying people pulled over by police would not be asked about their immigration status. That policy has been in place in Orlando since 2018, but the mayor now says all state and federal immigration laws will be followed.
I think it's just a little misunderstanding. We are going to comply with all federal and state laws, and to the extent that the Trust Act is not in conflict with any state laws, it applies.
Mayor Dyer says the city's focus remains on public safety and building trust between law enforcement and the community.
Happening today, leaders in Palm Bay are expected to continue discussing redevelopment plans for a vacant stretch of land that has become a hotspot for crime. We've been covering this for some time. We're talking about the compound. It's been a problem for years, but now there could finally be some changes. News 6's Mark Lehman joins us live in studio. And Mark, the council is expected to meet with a consultant today.
Yeah, they'll be going through a project that has several phases. It aims to work with a company near the compound to secure a land swap to create a business park. This is another plan to revitalize an area that's been abandoned for decades while also generating income for the city. Today, the future of Palm Bay's troubled compound neighborhood is back on the table. Council members are set to hear details about the Compound Redevelopment Action Plan. It's a 5-phase project seeking to build out a business park, generate investment, and create jobs. The compound has long been an issue for Palm Bay. The more than 2,300 acres was first planned for a large residential community, but the owner went bankrupt in 1991 and most of the land sat undeveloped. Calls for action have increased in recent years after 2 teens were found shot to death in the compound on Christmas Day in 2022. A little over a year later, burned remains of a missing woman were discovered near the same area. Since then, several ideas have been brought to the table, including turning part of the land into a BMX racing complex. Today's discussion, however, comes after the city was nominated to receive funding from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. The action plan looks at site redevelopment over the next 5 to 8 years. When completed, it could bring nearly 1 million square feet in new construction of businesses, commercial retail, and restaurant space, as well as a total of 2,500 new jobs for Palm Bay. And once complete, this development is also expected to bring in $2 million in annual tax revenue. Palm Bay City Manager is recommending the council accept their plan during their meeting that's set for 6 tonight.
All right, we'll see what happens. Mark, thanks. Central Florida's largest school district reaches a tentative agreement when it comes to paying school resource officers. 5 municipalities in the Orange County Public School District and 5 local law enforcement agencies. They've been in a standoff with the district for months now. That includes the cities of Apopka, Ocoee, Winter Garden, Winter Park, and the town of Windermere. Yesterday, OCPS announced they will keep officers on campus through the 2026-2027 school year. No official contract has been signed yet.
7:40 now. Let's get you back to your forecast. Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos joins us now. So really comfortable, maybe a little chilly morning out there in Central Florida, Candace.
Can I call it cool-ish?
Coolish. I wouldn't say chilly either.
Yeah.
How about relative to like this time of year? Maybe?
Yes, exactly. Now, I mean, temperatures right now are in the 40s. So I walked out this morning and I talk about how cool it's going to be in the morning, and I still sometimes surprise myself because I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I did talk about that all day yesterday. 49 in Ocala. Yes, certainly on the cooler side in areas across our northwestern counties. Palm Coast at 49, 48 in Wildwood. Up and down the I-4 corridor and towards the coastline, we're all still hovering in those 50s. That's about 10 to 15 degrees cooler than where we started yesterday. But we've got our fair weather front, big ridge of high pressure that is going to stay in control starting today and will continue at least until about Monday. But as it continues to deepen and it anchors itself out over the western Atlantic, that's just going to continue to really heat us up. But high pressure also brings very dry conditions as well. But look how much rain we've seen so far this month. It's not much, barely a trace of rain there in Daytona Beach. Just for the month in itself, we're already in the deficit. It's already been a very dry April, which is why the drought monitor continues to worsen as we continue to see each weekly update. We should be getting an update to the drought monitor, by the way, in the next 20 to 25 minutes. So we, of course, will be letting you know if anything does change with this drought monitor. In the meantime, though, it's going to stay pretty dry over the next couple of days. We'll have more details on when we could finally see maybe a little chance for rain coming up in just a bit. Now let's check on those roadways. Meteorologist Michelle Morgan. She's in for Trooper Steve and has your News 6 traffic update.
Thanks so much, Candace. As we take a look at the traffic map here, which is updated, looking pretty good. We're still in the green for the most part, tracking a few slowdowns. It's pretty isolated. A typical slowdown here along I-4 eastbound near Champions Gate. You see that red, so traffic is moving about 25 miles per hour, so allow extra time if that's part of your commute this morning. As we take a look at your drive times here, still looking pretty good. I-4 westbound, John Young Parkway to 27. It'll take you about 30 minutes. If you're also heading towards I-4 westbound Lake Mary to Maitland, a bit of a slowdown there, 10-minute drive. And then we're looking at a State Road 434 to State Road 50. It'll take you about 11 minutes there. So all in all, traffic looks pretty good if you're heading out the door.
Thank you, Michelle. And even though he has the day off, Trooper Steve still answering one of your questions.
Today, it's about leaving a tow hitch on your truck. What every driver should know next. Plus, lawmakers just passed a cell phone ban, and it's about more than just distractions. The big changes that could be coming to your child's school day.
Can I leave the tow hitch on my truck when I am not towing my boat or whatever? Well, Robert, whatever you are towing, for the most case, yeah. If it's a hitch like these right here, both on this, what kind of car is that? It looks like a Tundra, maybe? Well, this one's a Tundra, but doesn't matter, right? These hitches out here, this is, as long as it's not causing an obstruction to your license plate, meaning you can clearly see your license plate, then this is not a problem. You can keep the hitch attached to it. Now, if you have like an extending one, it's way over 4 foot, then yeah, we'll run into some problems there, but I've never seen one like that. You also want to be careful after you parked your car. A buddy of mine made mention, man, have you ever hit your shin on something like this? That hurts. But legally speaking, you're not doing anything wrong, but I'd take it off because I wouldn't want it stolen. If you've got a question, you want me to answer it, let us know on our website. Head to clickorlando.com/askTrooperSteve.
New this morning, the Florida House has unanimously passed a bill aimed at curbing cell phone use in schools. So it bans students from using their phones throughout the entire school day, not just during class time. It also requires school districts to designate specific areas for device use. Supporters say cell phones cause distractions and can increase bullying among students.
They can't even interact on a personal basis. We're removing humanity from humankind.
All right, so 2 years ago, Florida made a rule that students could not use phones during class. Now, this new rule would go even further, of course. A similar bill in the Senate still needs to be approved by 2 more groups before it can go to a final vote.
A bill that would require hospitals to test overdose patients for fentanyl is now headed to Governor DeSantis' desk. It's known as Gage's Law. The bill passed unanimously in both the Florida House and Senate. It's named after Gage Taylor, an Orlando man who died in 2022 after unknowingly taking drugs laced with fentanyl. His mother pushed for the change after she says the hospital didn't test for it, and as a result, there were delays in prosecuting those responsible. If signed, the law would take effect July 1st of this year.
A Texas high school student did something most students could never dream of doing. He got a perfect score on not one, but 2 of the most recognized college entrance exams. Payush Malik scored 36 on his ACT in October, and then last month, he took the SAT and he got a 1600. While that sounds maybe superhuman smart, Payush says it didn't happen overnight, put a lot of work into it, hit the books for hours.
I don't think I can even count them. I would say like, well, hours, I don't know, maybe like 100, 150.
All right, well now with the perfect scores behind him, he says he's done with standardized testing and is now switching to college applications.
Well, it's much easier to start those college applications when you got perfect scores, so good for them.
Yeah, probably getting right on that.
Yeah.
It's like, if you got it the other way, it's like, well, I don't even know where to apply.
Yeah, so good for him.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome.
I mean, 1600.
And he
Envious.
Worked, and he worked really hard for it.
Yeah.
So,
some people are like, it comes naturally. They always said like, oh, I'm not a good test taker. I've used that excuse before. And then some people will be like, well, that just means you're not that smart.
No, the things are worded just a little extra differently on that thing, okay? Just ask the question straightforward and I'll answer it. All right, let's talk about the weather. I'm salty.
It's not how you start with the testing, it's how you end in your career. And you all have
also,
been very
street
successful.
smarts over book smarts any day of the week.
That's right. That's what we tell ourselves.
Wouldn't you rather be better in the streets? That's where I would be better. I like being in the streets.
Justin, what do you know about the streets?
I know about the streets.
Listen.
Well, Justin, the streets aren't for everyone. That's why there's sidewalks.
That's true.
So
that's true.
This is the stuff. This is stuff you get when you stream us on News 6 Plus. Yeah. All right, let's talk about the weather forecast. Justin from the streets. All right, let's talk about the weather forecast across the area. Oh my God, this is fun. All right, let's talk about how warm the streets are going to be this afternoon. It is going to be a toasty afternoon, especially as we head into that weekend. We've got so many Easter egg hunts. There are so many to even count across Central Florida, both Saturday and Sunday. Just make sure we're not packing those eggs with too much chocolate, things that can melt, because throughout Sunday, especially, our highs will be hitting almost 90 degrees. And then we're going to be well into those 90s throughout the majority of next week. We're going from hot to hotter in the next 7 days. So prepare yourself because it looks like summer is slowly poking its head out by next week. Temperatures out the door. We are in those upper 40s right now in Ocala. We're at 48 degrees in Wildwood, 56 in Sanford. We're at 55 degrees there in Cocoa Beach. But now let's check on that hour-by-hour forecast for today. We are up to about 84 degrees for today, with our highs are going to be into the mid-80s throughout the afternoon, mostly clear skies. We are anticipating conditions to stay very dry, so rain chances still kind of goose eggs across the board between today, tomorrow, and even to your weekend, which is good if you have those Easter plans outdoors. Rain chances, again, out of the picture. Temperatures on Sunday, though, will be nearing 90 degrees. It will be a bit on the breezier side, though, on Saturday. At times, we could get up those wind gusts between 50 to 30 miles per hour. Now, let's talk rain chances in the forecast. We're looking at about a 20% chance between Tuesday and Wednesday's forecast, and that's because we are watching kind of a weak front that's going to be just to the north. So as it stays to the north, we're going to start seeing a little more moisture creep in. So as the sea breeze comes together, we will have a shot for some rain. Now, a 20% shot for scattered showers for 2 days is not going to do much. At the end of the day, though, we'll take whatever rain we can get, especially if it doesn't come with any thunderstorm chances, which adds to the fire danger. Because if we get lightning and we don't get the rain associated with it, that can be one of the bigger culprits for wildfires. Wildfire, brush fire danger still continues to be on the high side of things. Now, as we head into the weekend, though, even setting aside that fire risk, it is going to be a relatively warm weekend ahead. Easter, again, nearing 90 degrees. And then as we head into Earth Day on Tuesday, look at those temperatures. Some models even going more to those low 90s potentially as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday. All right, now let's check on those roadways with meteorologist Michelle Morgan. She's got your pinpoint traffic.
Thanks so much, Candace. We're still crash-free across Central Florida. I'm trying to find something here to tell you to avoid, but not really seeing anything, which is great. We're seeing a few slowdowns. It's pretty isolated. We are still looking at that slowdown here along I-4 westbound or eastbound right near Champions Gate, which usually happens. So if that's part of your commute this morning, you want to make sure you're allowing extra time. If you are heading in and out of the city, I'm not seeing any issues. Everything is all in the green for the most part. I-75, I-95 looking good. If you're heading towards 27 and Highway 50, currently there are no problems.
Thanks, Michelle. We're hitting the road to Claremont, and we want to hear what you love about the city and what you're concerned about. We want to help you get results, too. Head to clickorlando.com/hitstheroad. Fill out the form there. Let us know which stories you want us to cover.
A baby food recall at a major retailer. What parents need to know about a product that may contain dangerously high levels of lead. A recall alert this morning for baby food sold at Target that could contain high levels of lead. The recall includes more than 25,000 units of Target's Good and Gather baby pea, zucchini, kale, and thyme puree. Products were sold at Targets nationwide. According to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the affected products have best buy dates of December 7th, 2025 and December 9th, 2025.
New this morning, the CDC says a growing number of Americans are suffering from depression, and experts warn those numbers, they could rise. A new report shows more than 1 in 8 people over the age of 12 have experienced depression in recent years. That's nearly double the rate since 2015. Data shows women are more likely to be affected than men, and the rates are lower among older adults and those with higher incomes. But perhaps most concerning here, researchers say only about 40% of those getting results and keeping people safe.
We kind of need to be the eyes and ears of the police because they can't be on every corner at all times. So usually we're the first person to see something, and we're trying to be the best witness possible.
The group says a big factor in their success has been a strong partnership with Orlando police. Candace.
All right, let's talk about that weather forecast out the door. It is cool-ish. We're starting off in those 40s and 50s, but look how much dry air we currently have in place, and that is zapping at the humidity. Unfortunately, the rain chances as well. 84 is our high for today, which is running right where we should be for this time of the year. So if you have some outdoor things you need to get done and you don't need the rain to impact it, this is going to be the nice stretch to do it. Warming things up, though, for your Easter Sunday, and then maybe, just maybe, a slight chance early next week. Michelle.
And we're still looking quiet across Central Florida in terms of traffic. Some slowdowns here and there, but that's typical. More people are out and about, so watch out for that. And also the buses, there are no crashes or disabled vehicles.
Good to hear. Thank you, Michelle. Thanks for joining us. We break news on clickorlando.com.
You can also find all of our stories on our new 6 Plus app for our TV.
Take care.
Let's go study for the SATs.